Hello. Today we're going to talk about denaturalizing citizens, and we're also going to talk about who is going to be most affected by the Big Beautiful Bill Act, which is now the Big Beautiful Bill Law. Hello, welcome to Marxisms. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you've This is your first time, welcome. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and do not hit the notification button because notifications are annoying. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about denaturalization. I had just recorded this video, and I noticed about halfway through that my microphone was turned off, and apparently it had randomly turned off in the middle of it. I went back and listened to a couple of part of um, the playback on it, and it was like somewhere towards the end that it cut off. So it was like so I decided I'm just going to start over again and just keep an eye on it. I don't know what is going on. It just does that randomly. I don't decides, oh, we're going to turn it off. I don't think you're using it right now. Yeah, I was. I was in the middle of using it. But anyway, so Republicans have been telling you forever that they just want to go after people that are here illegally. When Trump first started his deportations, he said, "Hey, don't worry. We want to get these criminals that are dealing drugs and sex trafficking. Uh, we want to get them off the streets. We want to get the MS-13 members and the other gang members. We want to deport them." I'm actually okay with that with them. But then what's he do? He starts just taking random people off the streets, people who are just mowing somebody's lawn, family men who just and women who just want a better life, who are paying taxes and paying into Social Security that they're never going to collect, paying into workers' compensation and all those things that they don't collect. I know MAGA likes to say that, oh, they're taking all our benefits and they vote. Well, A, they don't vote. And no, they're not getting benefits. They do not, illegal aliens do not get benefits, but they do pay into them. So we're going to see those things go down. Um, but they weren't originally going to do that. They said that Trump said, we're going to go after these criminals and get them off the streets. He's not going after criminals. He's going after everybody that's illegal. And now suddenly they want to de naturalize American citizens, people who went through the process. They paid the thousands of dollars. They took the test. They went through all the hoops. It took them many years because it does. It's not like Melania Trump where you just marry a rich guy and you can cheat on all your stuff and get in quick. It's not like that for most people. Most people don't have a fast track to um, you know um, to becoming citizens like um, when you're just a porn star and a hooker, and then you marry a rich guy like Trump. It doesn't work that way for the rest of us. It worked that way for Melania, but it does not work that way for the regular person. They have to go through a lot of bullshit and cost them a lot of money. It costs thousands of dollars to become a citizen in this country. It isn't easy. So, um, and they have to take a test. Now, mind you, I think the test is easy because I'm a historian. Um, I've told this story before. I had somebody at work one time come up to me and say, "Hey, yeah, it's not easy to pass that test." And I was like, "Well, I know most Americans." He's like, "Oh, you wouldn't. Most Americans wouldn't pass it. You wouldn't pass it." And I'm like, "Well, you're right. Most Americans wouldn't pass it, but I would pass it. And I've taken it already online, and I've passed it." He's like, "I don't think that's true." And I'm like, all right. And he pulls it up, and I go, "Oh, you got it there?" And he says, "Yeah." And I go, "Start asking." Well, I think we got about 6 questions in before he just said, "Ah, fuck you," because I got them all right. So he knew I was gonna get them all. He knew I wasn't blowing sunshine. So anyway, it isn't easy. Most Americans would not pass the test because they don't know that much about American history. There's plenty of them would, but a lot of them would not. So anyway, these naturalized citizens go through a lot to get to where they are, and it costs them a lot of money. So anyway, um, they're now going to denaturalize these people. And the thing is it's not going to be people from England or Germany. It might be people from Canada because Trump's pissed at Canadians because they've given him the middle finger for wanting them to become the 51st state, which they don't want it to happen. And and maybe from Greenland, maybe Greenland won't be allowed to come either because of Donald's hatred for him. But that's what this is about. This is about who Donald and MAGA hate. This is It's racism, is what it is. He's already in his last term under the guise of nobody believed in the pandemic and all this stuff, and but then they turn around and then ban Muslims, people from Muslim countries from coming in. It's like, okay, whatever. So that's not obvious. So now the same thing's happening. Nicaragua and Honduras were just put on the list today. So these are the people he's gonna go after. He's gonna go after people from Central and South America. He's gonna go after people from the Middle East that aren't Jewish. And he's gonna and maybe even the Jews. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Nazis like to scapegoat Jews anyway. But unfortunately, today a lot of the like Israel, they're just a bunch of Nazis now. They're no different. It's interesting how people, when you have something done to you, certain people, they end up doing kind of the same things to other people that were done to them. Israel's a perfect example, with their ethnic cleansing policies against the Palestinians. We've talked about that before, and you can believe it or not believe it, but I know my history. In fact, I'm reading a really good book right now. It's called The Anonymous Soldier, and it kind of goes through all of the terrorism on both sides, Arabs as well as the Jews. But this, the Israelis, they did their share of terrorism. And that's not to say that Jewish people are bad. My kids are Jewish. I have no problem with Jewish people. Obviously, I married a Jewish woman, my first wife, and I have no problem with people that are Jewish. I loved her parents very much and enjoyed their holidays, and still celebrate them. I still light the Torah or the Torah. And I don't light the Torah. I still light the candles on Hanukkah, and I have a Torah or a Tanakh, and um, obviously it's half the Bible or part of the Bible. Um, and so I've read it. I've read the New Testaments too, and all that stuff. But anyway, so I have zero problem with them. I have a problem with people who discriminate against other people and treat them poorly. And I'm not a fan of Hamas. I don't like terrorism, but um, I don't discriminate because somebody's a certain race or religion. I know plenty of Muslims, and I think they're fine people. Do I agree with like Sharia law? No, I don't. And I think that when they come here, that they should obey American laws, and I think in general they do. I mean, you always hear the horror stories about the the man who ends up killing his daughter for violating some Sharia law thing. Well, that's really pretty rare. And most of the place I live in a place now that has a bit of an Afghani population. We took in some of the Afghan refugees from the after the war, and we have also a fairly good sized Muslim community here, Jordanian people, and the women come in and they're customers of mine, and they're very nice people. They're usually pretty quiet, but I'm a pretty engaging person, and so I've engaged them and actually become, you know not too friendly with them because that's not okay, but become, treated them correctly. So where they come through my line, they know they're not going to be discriminated against. Um, and some of these I've had some conversations with them and their interpreters, the Afghanis, and these guys fought in the war. Right alongside this one guy in particular that his wife shops at our store. He fought side by side with American Special Forces Um, think one of those guys on horseback when they did that charge, and all the special forces guys went, "Oh, okay," and they did that horse charge. Yeah, this guy was one of those. So, um, yeah, we're gonna deport them now. He fought for, they might not be citizens yet, but they're refugees, and they helped us in that war. So I don't know. I think they should get a little special treatment. But Trump doesn't care, and MAGA doesn't care because they're deporting veterans. They're deporting the family of veterans, um, and they're not deporting people from England and Ireland. It's they're going after. Um, brown people. They're going after people that are not our religion, stuff like that. It's prejudice. This is racism. This is not, oh, we're just going after criminals. No, this is racism. He's going to say, he's already saying that, oh no, people that committed crimes or lied on their application. Well, he said he was only going to go after the criminals, the gang members, when it came to the original deportations in the first place. But then instantly they were just grabbing anybody, including American citizens who were happened to be maybe standing in front of Home Depot or at the place in the fashion district, trying to get jobs. Um, uh, that's just discrimination. You're just grabbing people because they're trying to work, and they happen to be look like they're Mexican or South American or Central American. That's what this is about. This is not about we only want the criminals. No, it's not. That's not what's going on. And it's going to quickly change, and they're going to just start targeting people from certain countries. They're already talking about doing that, and so it's going to happen. That's the way these guys roll. Um, it was nice to get to meet these people. I'm retired, but when I moved here, I lived here for a year before I started working again. But I just wanted to meet people in the area here because I'd never been here before. So I got a job at a grocery store. I used to work in the groceries business when things were slow. I was a construction worker. I was a union sheet metal worker, local 104, and out of San Francisco. And but when things got slow and there wasn't a lot of work, I'd go work in a grocery store because I wasn't one of these people that would just gonna sit back on unemployment and you know, do nothing. Although we made pretty good money on unemployment because we got it from the state, and then our union, we paid in to the state and to the union. So we got a little stipend from the union too. So we ended up doing pretty well. But it doesn't go into your retirement. Doesn't go um, uh, to your benefits and stuff like that. But anyways, but I'm not one to sit around and not work. So I was always doing something. There was a time when I took a little bit of time off and stayed on unemployment because I was trying to get a business venture going with some inventors and stuff like that, and but they kept not being very forward and not wanting to move forward with actually doing anything. I did all this work and they never really. I got places, but then they would never go with me, so it never really happened, unfortunately. So I ended up dropping them like a hot potato, and I don't know what the hell they're doing today. I know the guy that was in charge of the whole thing is struggling, whereas I could have been. I probably could have made a millions if I got in touch with some pretty amazing high up people, and they were really surprised. I mean, I talked to the CEO from one company, and she's like, how the hell did you get my phone number? And I'm like, I'm pretty resourceful. So she was listening. She's like, wow, this sounds really good, and then they these inventors got freaked out and wouldn't do it. That's because the guy that was in charge of the whole thing was trying to control it, and so he just kept, telling them that, oh no, Obama's going to take over. This guy was a right winger, and he's like, oh, Obama's going to come in and take over our technology. And it's like, no, he's not. Why would he? Why? It was just another crazy. He was just another crazy conspiracy theory. He's probably Joe MAGA now, if he's even still alive. But he's probably going to lose his welfare if he's because he's probably on welfare at this point. That'll be the next subject of the day here. But anyway, so they're lying to you when they say they're just going to go after criminals. They're not. They're going to go after brown people. That's what they've done all along through this whole thing. It's quickly escalated. The parallels to um, Hitler are just astounding. The scapegoating and the way things are working and moving along. um, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. I wish my mic hadn't gone out earlier because I'd had a lot to say, and it just kind of upset that it happened. But anyway, it did. So probably because I'm deleting files. I'm deleting stuff off that OneDrive um, that takes over your computer. Um, if you have Microsoft and it quickly fills up and then it's really hard to get stuff off there. Everything just goes into this OneDrive thing and then they try to get you to buy space and it's like I have space. I have external hard drives that I try to put so I'm putting it on stuff on an external hard drive so that might have caused a problem. I don't know. But anyway, I can't wait to get rid of that. OneDrive is it's just intrusive. But so anyway, the next thing is who's gonna who's go back to the Big Beautiful Bill Act. Who's gonna benefit from this? I'm always hearing about how Californians are all on welfare and this thing and that thing. Well, it's not really true. This is who has welfare. 5%. That's California right there. Um, but if you look at Texas, which is a red state, by the way, look at the number. The numbers are up here. Interesting. Red state, red state, red state, um, red state, red state, red state. These are all a little bit better red states, though. Red state, um, red state, blue state, blue state. These are mixed now, kind of, but Virginia is pretty mixed, and so they're doing pretty well. It's the East Coast. There's a lot going on there. You got some Jersey and some of these other places. Connecticut's a train wreck. Vermont is pretty rural, and um, there's not a lot going on there, so that kind of stands to reason. But anything on the East Coast, I mean, there's a lot kind of going on there, all the way down, these Gulf states and stuff. I mean, there's plenty of industry. Um, this is a blue state, red state, red state, red state, red state. Wyoming is just has very little population, but it's a red state. But um, like I said, the population is really everybody's a rancher there. Pretty much. It's got a very small population. This one surprises me, Oklahoma. Not too many people on welfare in Oklahoma. Good for them, honestly. But see, California, another red state here. Low population too, but see, California pays a lot of federal taxes. So a lot that goes into the federal government paying for these red states comes from here. I want to read you. This meme is perfect. I'm not a big fan of memes and all that stuff, but this one is pretty good. California is like the roommate who pays the rent and buys the groceries, while red states are the ones who eat all the snacks, complain about the Wi-Fi, and still ask to borrow $20. That's a fact. That's exactly what's going on in this country. Um, States like New York, Massachusetts, um, Minnesota's a pretty good sized state. Um, Now Texas does pay a lot too because they've got a large population and a lot of industry, but they still take a lot of federal funding, and a lot of people are on welfare there. Florida is doing well. It's a red state, and it's a southern state, but they also have a lot of people from New York that come down and retire here. All the East Coasters retire here. So it's doing pretty well. You have a lot of retirees, but there's sometimes there's reasons for why something's the way it is. But good for them. Florida's another big state that pays into federal taxes. But California's the biggest. I mean, California pays, without California, the fourth largest economy in the world. Uh, the rest of these states aren't going to get their welfare checks. So you guys need to stop it. Uh, See, you guys are about to get your Medicaid cut off. You're about to get you're going to lose probably welfare. You're going to get screwed on your Social Security. So it's going to backfire on MAGA. We got midterm elections coming up in 2026 next year. Here's what I'm looking at. The scenario I'm looking at. If Trump doesn't pull some bullshit, because he's going to want to stay. He's going to want to stay in office, and he knows that if the Democrats take over the House and Senate, that he will be impeached. He knows that, and he should be. I mean, it's ridiculous. And they should also impeach the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court is not. They're not doing their job. They're not. They're going against the Constitution, same as Trump is, and same as the Republicans in Congress are. They're dangerous to the Constitution. They're dangerous to America, and they're dangerous to liberty. So he's going to not want to have those midterm elections. He already promised that there'd never be an election again once he was elected. So I'm not sure what he means by that. But if we do have elections, I don't think it's going to go well, because by that time, all this stuff is going to be shaken out. And of course, some of this stuff, he was smart about it. They're smart about it in here. They deferred a lot of this stuff to like 2028 and 2026. So these things are going to get pushed back a little bit. Some of the things. Um, he already blew sunshine up everybody's butt, telling them that they were going to get some um, break on their Social Security, which is never going to happen. Those were proposed, and it's not going to happen. You're not going to get a tax break on your Social Security. You should. I think when you retire, I think you shouldn't have to pay federal tax or state tax for that matter. A lot of states like California, you don't have to pay tax on your retirement benefits. It's just too hard to own a house there. Otherwise, I probably would have stayed there because of that reason. But and I didn't want to live in some of the states that do. It wasn't worth it to me to live in a state, some of the states that give you the tax break. Um, I just I get a little bit of a tax break where I'm at, but it's not as much. But it should be. It should be across the board. It should be that if once you retire, you've done your time, especially Social Security. I mean, we shouldn't have to pay. We've paid an enormous amount of taxes over our lives. We should be given a break once we retire. Um, but that's not the case. Yeah, I retired a couple of years ago, and I'm doing okay. I mean, it's not a big deal. I ended up going back to work, but it was mainly to um, working in a grocery store. It was mainly to meet people. And I ended up meeting my girlfriend there, which was great. She was a customer. The funny thing is, see, I like I said, I did construction, but then I worked in the grocery business when things were slow, and I actually met her working in another grocery store in California years ago. Before you know, um, probably 20 years ago or something like that. And I knew she looked familiar, but um, when we were in California recently, we did this road trip where we went all over Arizona, California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and went and saw some sights, saw some people I know and she knows. Went sailing, went ziplining. It was pretty cool. Had a good time. But anyway, we went to the grocery store where we met the first time, and it was funny. As soon as we pulled in the parking lot, she's going, "I remember exactly when it was." She says, "You were on a break, and I was on a break, and that she was in the bakery area, and I was going to get I always get this white chocolate macadamia nut cookie that they have, which is absolutely out of this world at Oliver's Market in Sonoma County, and I actually have the recipe, but I can never give it to anybody because I swore the person that gave it to me made me swear that I would never give it away or sell it, which I haven't done. I made my promise and I've kept it. um, so I was telling her, "Oh, you got to try this cookie. It's amazing," and she loves white chocolate and macadamia nuts and stuff too. And she can't eat it now because she's gluten free. She has a gluten allergy, but um it was funny because she's like, that's when I first met you." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I totally remember that." And so it was kind of funny, but we met in a different state, but we're from the same county, and it's pretty amazing. So when we went back to visit, we were visiting her family and my family, who all live in kind of the same area. So it was kind of cool, except for I have some family in Oregon as well, but um, yeah, so that was pretty fun. But yeah, so it was kind of interesting. But So I started working in the grocery business here to just to meet people. And so now I go around town. I also take dance lessons, my girlfriend and I. And so we've made some friends there, but I've made a lot of friends working in the grocery business. It's kind of nice. So now I go around town. I go to to the Saturday market, farmers market, and if I go out somewhere, I always run into somebody I know now. So it's kind of cool. So it pays to work. You meet people that way. Um, but that's where I've met all these the Afghan uh, refugees from the war that MAGA's now gonna send back. So it's disgusting what's going on. Um, and then now it's not gonna hurt me, the Medicaid or the welfare thing, but you're gonna hurt a lot of people. 17 million people are gonna lose health care. That's gonna be really hard on our society. Something that they want to keep you dumb, which is why we don't have free education. And then the dumber you are, the more you're against free education, which is kind of funny. The least educated people are not for it, and then the most educated people, or at least the business owners, are not for it. They don't want to pay. Or the rich people don't want to pay for it. But just think how better off and how wealthy our nation would be if everyone had a good education. It doesn't necessarily have to be you don't necessarily have to be get a PhD, but it would be really nice if everybody got either a vocational skill or whatever their aptitude is. If you want to get a PhD, yeah, I think we should pay for it at least up through bachelor's degree. Certainly vocational school. I mean, we'd be so much better off. We'd have better working people. We'd have a better educated society as a whole, but they don't really want that. They want you to be stupid. Same with healthcare. um People they become bankrupt even if you have health insurance. It's so expensive that if you have something major happen, you just forget it. You're losing your house, you're losing everything, because our it's a joke. Our healthcare is become really poor too. It's Our healthcare is not good in this country anymore. We used to be the best in the world, and it used to be actually fairly inexpensive, but now it's not. We're going down the wrong path, and this big beautiful bill act, which I'll talk about more in the future, is not going to help this country. It's setting us back. We're going backwards. Anyway, wish I hadn't lost my recording from earlier, because I actually probably touched on a few more things, but I gotta end it now. Anyway, peace.